Well, it's time for update number 64. It's time to talk for some minor features and tweaks for 1.5 banks. And all the features described in this particular update are going to be free with 1.5 as it will come out in April. So, let's take it from the top shelf here. There's a couple of interesting items here that need to be done, and let's talk for about number one right here, and that is empire-wide food. So right now, all the food is being processed on the local level. You have food items, you've got food pops, well, not so much food pops, you got food farms, and all the planetary population feeds off the local food. Obviously, in a galaxy-wide spanning empire, this doesn't make all that much sense, especially if you have faster than light travel. Therefore, all food is going to be transferred to an empire-wide food system. This means that all the food in your empire that's going to be produced is going to add up to a giant pool of food that everybody feeds out of. You can adjust this pool on the fly from minimal to balanced to large, and if you have your pool full, it will increase the rate of population growth as well. So it may actually be interesting to have a minimal amount of food stockpiling if you're in a period of rapid growth. Of course, on the other hand, it also means that you now have things like farming worlds or any sort of food-based worlds, and if you are in a war and the enemy decides to blockade that and you don't have a large stockpile, well, then you could be completely and utterly boned. Conversely, if the stockpile runs out and food growth is negative on an empire level, the empire will suffer starvation, halting all pop growth and applying increasingly severe happiness penalties for all biological pops. I'm kind of really jealous of people that are just going to pick up the game for the first time. They're never going to have to deal with local food growth. And they're going to be stuck in, anybody that has been playing the game so far is probably going to be stuck in a meta where they're just like, yeah, food growth globally. I'm going to build way too many hydroponics farms, etc. So we'll see how this goes, and we'll see how the AI helps with this. One thing that's great with this as well is that now we don't have all these new colonies suffering from famine when we just start spamming them out in the mid to late game after all the terraforming is done. Speaking of which, terraforming, as explained in earlier Dev Diaries, one of the decisions to take early on when it comes to terraforming in Stellaris was not to have every planet habitable or terraformable. Well, obviously we got the molten barren worlds, but there's going to be a new event coming up, a new anomaly, which is the terraforming candidate discovered. And then once you manage to research climate restoration technology, you will be able to terraform those worlds. And this includes the red planet in the solar system, Mars. It will always be terraformable at any stage in the game. So if you start off as the humans in Sol, you'll be able to terraform Mars once you've reached climate restoration technology. And of course, there will be random terraforming candidates out in the galaxy as well. My personal favorite, war demand costs are being changed. So one big problem for those people that have watched some of my series so far is that I go on these massive wars with alien species and then maybe earn like 2 or 3 planets out of it. So what we're going to see now is we're going to see cheaper war demands. So basically, you will get more bang for your buck for your war score. So in the late game, once the empire started getting really big, you can win really big, but you could also lose really big. It's got a base cost of 1,800. It's pretty decent. Cheap award cost. It doesn't say specifically what the modifier is here. But yeah, we'll have to take a look at that once it comes out. Finally, well, not finally, Stone Age primitives now have pops. Apparently, they didn't have them before. I never really noticed, so apparently that is a thing. So you can conquer them now. Hooray. Picking room backgrounds. Yay, you can now pick up room backgrounds whilst in the starting menu. Joy. I am riveted. And that will wrap up this Dev Diary. It's a bit short this week, I'm aware. It looks like the devs are starting to run out of ideas in terms of what to put in these Dev Diaries. Next week, they're going to be talking about the music and the music player. So expect an Andreas Woldetoft Dev Diary at some point. And then most likely something about graphics as well. So we will see. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other.